What is going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back with a brand new episode of Umineko When They Cry. Last time on, we found out the truth about what happened on October 4th, 1986, or 85. And the truth was it was both disturbing and yet so simple. The truth of the matter is, the adults got together, they solved the epitaph, they got to the gold. And Seo, who dressed up as Beatrice, simply let them do what they want with a bunch of, loaded rifles in the same room as well. And after an accident, a misfire, killing Natsuhi, it devolved into Rudolph and Kyrie killing the rest of the family in order to keep all of the gold to themselves. And I have to say, I'm confident in saying this. That entire tea party, that entire section, those 3 chapters, was it, or was it 2? I can't remember. Were some of the most disturbing chapters I've read in When They Cry. Bar none. I can tell you that for sure. And that's saying a lot. Because in Higurashi, we had some very disturbing chapters. We had disturbing chapters, we had heartbreaking chapters at the exact same time. But in my opinion, that section of both Kyrie and Rudolph killing every single member of the family were some of the most disturbing. And the only thing you can compare that to is obviously Takano's massacre of Himizawa at the end of episode 5, I believe. But I feel like this is way worse because, yes, the village was more of a massacre, but this felt just so much more gut-wrenching because Rudolph and Kyrie know these people. They're quite literally family. And how kind of cold-blooded they became. A switch had literally gone off in both of their heads. More so in Kyrie's than Rudolph's. Because Rudolph was still trying to... The best way to put it is basically Kyrie and Rudolph fit into the role of the evil murderers. Hell, when Kyrie went into the guest house, that's how the novel was describing her, as the murderer was walking into the room. That sort of thing. Because they had to go into that mindset of they're monsters, yeah. And they just fully commit to that. Because if you don't, then you realize what you're actually doing, which is killing your entire family. And both Rudolph and Kyrie were both killed by Ava, and that's how she got away from the island. We also found out of the explosive switch of all the TNT that was below Rokkenjima this entire time that Kinzo probably had as a last resort just in case his gamble ever lost. If he can't have it, nobody can, really. That type of mindset he has. And so that was it, and we witnessed both Leon and Willard trying to escape their fates. Because even in the other world, or the other fragment Leon comes from, the same thing happens as well. Kyrie and Rudolph kill every single person of the family. And starting with the cousins, with Leon specifically. And they both try so desperately to escape their fate. Willard helping out Leon to escape this tragedy, this ultimate fate. And let me commentate on something. Ryokushio 7 has big fucking balls, right? Because the entire episode of Episode 7 was explaining the motive of Seo, aka the main culprit we were thinking the entire time. We quite literally saw through their point of view, saw how they cultivated the personalities of both different, different personas. Let's just say that. Personas of Shannon, Beatrice, and Cannon, eventually. We saw that. We saw how doomed their relationships were with George, Jessica, and Battler, and how they hated themselves because they found out the truth of their existence from, Kinzo. And were forced into the role of becoming the next master of the Ushiramura family. We understood all of that. We finally got to the motive of, how realistically, if this was placed on a person, all of this, and basically Seo was, as I've said before, Seo's entire thing is, it's a group suicide. That's what it is. Which is stated outright. It's a group suicide by Seo. Because she hates, or they hate what they are. They view themselves lesser than human. Probably because of the mix of the circumstances of their birth, and also the fact that someone actually commented this on last episode, and I actually suspected this as well. More than likely, they became, during their fall as a baby, it wasn't just their head they hit. They also probably became furniture, you could say. AKA their privates were destroyed when they were falling as a child. Which makes a ton of sense now that, I say it out loud. But previously I was thinking that I didn't want to say it out loud because I was like, no, they only state they only hit their head. But now that I say it out loud, it makes more sense why they refer themselves as lesser than human, furniture, why they're unable to love, quite literally, because they view themselves as not having the parts to express that, to physically love, I should say. Which explains their entire, dysmorphia about their own gender. While Leon, who never experienced that fall at all, is able to continue on living perfectly fine as, either a boy or a girl, But with Seo, since they don't have that parts, they're split, quite literally. They don't know what they are. They don't know. And also, once again, the circumstances of the birth of Kinzo. They hated themselves. They hated what they were. They wished they were someone else. That's why, the name Seo has disappeared. It's Shannon, Cannon, Beatrice. Because they wanted to be something else entirely. Someone completely disconnected from the family, That's why they chose the roles as, Beatrice was disconnected from the family. She was a golden witch. Cannon was just a simple male servant. Shannon was a simple female servant. That's all they were. They're completely disconnected from the family because they wished that was true. They wished so bad that it was true so their love could be true with either George, Jessica, or even Battler, But with all of that going against them, they decided, well, it's just better to die since they believed in God. They believed in a heaven, a golden land. And they truly believed, probably because they were stuck in their own head, dealing with all these different, different aspects of themselves that they hated so much, that they decided the only way to become human was in death. And so they went for a suicide, pretty much. And they were planning to murder everyone on the island, but because of the wheel, that's not what happened. And just preface all of that with the fact of we go into the tea party and we find out the truth. which is the case that Seo wasn't behind it. They did set up everything. They did set up, they were planning to. They were ultimately planning to. But they left it up to fate. They left it up to God's will, you could say. And, well, fate was that Kyrie and Rudolph would murder every single person. And it's like Occam's razor. It's the simplest thing. It's the simplest solution. It truly is the simplest solution. Of the family solved it, and then they went around killing the rest of the family. And it's like, I've never been presented with a truth of a story. The ultimate truth to a mystery. The biggest mystery. The entire central mystery of this entire story was what happened on Rokkenjima. And we finally get it. And I wish it was different. Not in the sense of, like, it's bad writing. No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying, like, it's a bad truth or it's bad writing at all. But it's literally my heart saying, like, why? Why did it have to be this? Why did it have to be Kyrie and Rudolph killing the rest of the family? Because in my opinion, that's the worst possible outcome. At least with Seo, you could put a pin on somebody. You know, you could... Well, I mean, you could do the same with Rudolph and Kyrie, but, like... maybe because it goes down to the simple motivation. With Seo's motivation, we explored every single detail of their motivation. We saw how exactly their mindset turned them suicidal. Which makes Kyrie and Rudolph's motivation of just pure money, just pure greed, so much more just disgusting, so much more disheartening, so much more less human. One, because it's a very simple motive, but two, it's just so very cold-blooded. You know what I mean? I hope you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say here. Is that Seo's motivation was so complex, so much of an enigma. Yet with Rudolph and Kyrie's motivation, it's so simple. That's cold, that's so disturbing. That for such a simple reason, just the simple reason of money, was all it took for Kyrie and Rudolph to kill their entire family. I think that's what it is. Because at least with Seo, the one thing I can say is that they were on it for 7 years. They agonized about it. They had so many different reasons to not go through with it, or to go through with it. They had so much more, I don't know what to say, like, better reasoning, I guess is the best way to put it, you know, of murder, besides just the fact of just money. All I'm saying is, it was a fucking bold move by Rokkenjima 7. And I love it. I love it. It is absolutely fascinating that he was able to put in a truth that I don't want to accept. Not because it's bad, but because in my heart, I don't want to accept it. I just want to blame it on the Golden Witch. I just want to do that. You know? It's the same thing with, like, well, actually, I feel like it's a better solution than Higarashi's. Because with Higarashi's solution to the mystery was, it was Takano's fault. Well, it was obviously more complex, obviously, and she had motivation to do it. And in some ways, you do sympathize with her, at least I do. You could blame somebody. But with Rudolph and Kyrie, as I've stated before, it was just money. Simple and plain. You know? Cliched, you could say. Like, the most cliched motive for any murder mystery at all. Or motive. Like, it's quite literally comes out of, like, a, you know, as Erica would put it, a third-rate novel. You know? The motive is simply money. That's it. After so much time we've spent with these characters, well over, I feel like by this point, almost 200 hours, at least, well, 180 maybe, but that besides the point. We've spent so much time with these characters. We've been inside their heads. We've explored their motivations, what motivates every single one of them by this point. That the ultimate truth to all of it is so simple and so just cold, disheartening. It whips out your goddamn guts. It destroys you. Because it destroyed me when I was going through it. But, God. Yeah, I've been thinking about that for the past couple weeks, obviously, because it was just such a. It was a twist. Ironically, the biggest twist of it was so simple. Of the truth of what happened on Rokkenjima, you know. It's fucking insane. Just absolutely insane, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, every other word you could say, but by God, it's fucking peak fiction. Oh my God. Some comments I'm gonna go over. At the end of the tea party, both Ramet Delta and Brendan Castle said, they will not allow this game to have a happy ending. What's interesting about that, and what somebody commented, in the original translation of that, it originally said, this game will not have a happy ending. It actually, somebody replied to that comment, saying that the, original Japanese for it was to remain ambiguous. It didn't really have a subject of it. So both translations are, possible with, I decide that this game will not have a happy ending versus this game will not have a happy ending. Which, I quite like this game this game will not have a happy ending much more. Because it's, it really does, feel like Ryokusho 7 talking to the player, to the reader, that this will not have a happy ending. This game. Which is, once again, stark contrast to Higurashi, which its final episode was a complete happy ending. But yeah, that was cool. Also, a bunch of people have been asking me of, will I read the manga adaptations of specifically episode 8, in which they actually go into detail of Will versus Claire, their fight, and how Will solves every single murder from the previous games. And I've been thinking about that, but maybe I could record it. Maybe record me reading those mangas, because it does sound interesting, and I've heard that the Umineko manga adaptations are really good, actually. Hell, maybe I can do a group read along with a bunch of my friends and read through all of Umineko again. That could be a cool idea if you guys are into that, and plus if I can motivate my friends to do it. But anyway, besides the point. Is there any other comments I want to say? Besides a lot of cool, foreshadowing moments, such as Episode 4 being an inverse with Ward Kinzo stopping the adults from solving the epitaph. It's a quite inverse of that, of the parents or the adults solving the epitaph first, which was cool. But besides that, I can't think of much else. But one other thing I want to get into before we start up Episode 8 is, in between my break, because I had to get my PC repaired. So unfortunately, I did lost my original save file for this, but thankfully the Umineko project is, you're able to open up any episode from the very beginning, which is super useful for me, because if I had to fucking read through episode 1 through episode 7 again, oh boy, that would suck. So, I feel like the only thing that really affects, though, is my stats, how many clicks I've had, or how much my playtime is. So if you're wondering, when that, if I only have, 20 clicks during this episode, it's because of that reason. But that shouldn't affect anything, really. It's just stats for the sake of stats, so. Anyway, enough diatribe. Let's actually get into this. Let's get into the final episode of Umineko. Also, there is an epilogue to Umineko that somebody did inform me of, and I will be playing that. Same thing with Higurashi with its epilogue. It only seems fair. Twilight of the Golden Witch. Good morning. This farewell is as sad for me as it is for you. I've prepared a goodbye party for tonight. A game competition will be included as well, so please feel free to participate. The difficulty is small, but not to be trifled with. As this will be the last opportunity, why not take part yourself? This is it. Let's do it. Let's do it, folks. Final episode. Also, at the end was a girl, like tiny or 11-year-old Angie, talking to Battler. So it's probably going to be the story that Battler tells Angie. One question I have for the truth, though, is what happened to Battler? That's one thing I've been wondering about. What happened to Battler, damn it? Because we never saw him die. Everyone else we did. Well, except for Kumasawa and some of the servants. But besides that, what happened to Battler? Two silhouettes could be seen in the chapel. A big brother and a little sister. The big brother who would never return from that day 12 years in the past, and the little sister who waited all alone 12 years in the future. However, the big brother knew everything, understood everything. And the little sister knew nothing, understood nothing. So no matter how much time passed, the little sister remained as the girl she had been 12 years before. She remained a 6-year-old girl forever. Her sobs into his chest finally subsided. She quietly waited for his next words. After patting her head gently, the big brother fetched around inside his shirt pocket. Then he took that out.
いいかい、エンジェ。これを大事に持つんだ。
これ何？鍵？
Battler took a large key attached to a necklace out of his pocket, then held it out to Angie. It was large enough to cover his entire palm. And little Angie probably wouldn't even be able to wrap her hand all the way around it. The key glittered gold and had a beautiful, intricate design. Its weight alone made it clear that this key was something very important. Battler put the necklace around Angie's neck.
これはエンジェだけの大切。
何の鍵なの？
Aw, little baby Angie.
使うべき時はすぐに来る。そしてエンジェが自分で決めるんだ。わかるね。
Of course, she didn't have a clue what Battler was saying. But she did realize that he was telling her to take good care of this key. So, Angie nodded, at least in response to that part. In her hand, the key had felt heavy. However, now that it was around her neck, it felt as light as an ordinary necklace. How strange.
さあ、行こうか。
どこへ？
She had been sure that her brother was about to sit down. After all, just a second ago, he said he'd tell her what happened on Rokkenjima on that day. She expected him to tell her here.
あの日、あの島で何があったのか。
お兄ちゃんがそれを聞かせてくれるんじゃないの？
聞かせるとも話してエンジェに聞かせる。でもそれはエンジェにはただ話を聞いているだけには感じられないかもしれない。
それはどういうこと？
エンジェが本当に望んでいるのはあの日あの島であったことを知りたいんじゃない。
So, he does understand after all. What happened on that island that day? Trying to answer that question was all I was capable of, so I wished for nothing more. But if I could, I'd want to go there. Oh, to that island. On that day. To Rokkenjima on that day I couldn't go. To the Ushiro family mansion. To Mom and Dad. To all the cousins, all the relatives, and everyone else. I want to go back to that day on that to that island on that day. So I remained the way I was on that day. My heart and soul stopped, stuck as a 6-year-old forever.
帰りたいの、私は。
分かってる。
お父さんとお母さん、お兄ちゃん、みんな、私はみんなのところへ帰りたい。
だから招くことにしたんだ。
Oh God. We're not even started this chapter yet, but I already feel my heart. Oh my God.
お兄ちゃんはもうゲームマスターなんだ。ゲーム版の全てを知る者だけがゲーム版を開き、だから俺はエンジェをゲーム版へ招待する。
私をあの日の六軒島へ連れて行ってくれるの？
ああ、エンジェを1986年の六軒島へ招待しよう。
会えるの？みんなに。
もちろん。
私もう記憶もおぼろげで、みんなの顔はっきりと思い出せないの。
すぐに思い出すさ。そしてエンジェにとっては12年ぶりの再会でも、俺たちにとってはしばらくぶりでしかないんだ。みんな歓迎する。12年の遠い未来からようやく帰ってきたエンジェを。
私はいつまでもそこにいられるの？
This way I can be with everyone forever. This is the goal I'm supposed to reach.
エンジェ、よくお聞き。
But Battler spoke in a mocking tone, as though warning me this was a dream that wouldn't be granted.
六軒島の親族会議は一泊で終わる。あの日は台風だったから船の都合で2泊だったけれどね。
それが過ぎたら私は島から帰らなくてはならないの？
少し違う。それを決めるのもエンジェなんだ。エンジェがそれを決める。
I understand, of course. I don't exist on that island on that day. It's a miracle just to be invited there like this. Just the 2 days before the typhoon passes, Just getting those 2 days to myself is already the sort of miracle that will never come again. If I'm greedy enough to ask for more, that faint miracle might vanish. Even though I fought this, my young heart, which was still 6 years old, wasn't satisfied with such a short-lived miracle.
帰りたくない。
Dude, this works on 2 levels. One, it works with Angie's entire motivation. Angie's entire motivation to this point was, well, to be with her family. Because she never grew up with her family. She never grew up with her mother or dad. She never grew up with them. She was so young that she can't even remember their faces. So of course she would want to stay there, be with her family. But this also works on the second level of me, of the viewer. Especially me, myself. I've been playing this game for a year. Hell, 2 years, because it's 2025 now. And there's a part of me. There is a part of me that is afraid to leave as well. Hell, no, not a part. Not a small part at least, but a very big part actually. That is afraid of when this ends. That is afraid to leave. You know? Because I've grown so attached to this goddamn story. I've been playing this story nearly every week for 2 years at this point. And it's become such a big part of myself. To be perfectly honest, yeah, it really has become such a big part of myself. I mean, hell, even my friends who don't even watch my videos, always refer to me as the, when they cry guy. Which is funny because, well, God, these goddamn stories have become such a part of me. They really have. And there's a part of me that doesn't want it to end as well.
わかるよ。
いつまでもみんなと一緒にいる。家族で一緒にいる。お兄ちゃんがもう帰らなくちゃって言っても、私は六軒島に残る。
残るのが正しいとか、帰るのが正しいとか、
Right choice.
そういうのじゃないんだよ、エンジェ。
それでも、それを私が選ぶの？
そうだよ。そのための鍵が。
Battler touched the glittering key that hung from Angie's neck.
私の答えはもう決まってるよ。
今は選ばなくていい。選ぶべき時はすぐに訪れるから。その時のエンジェの素直な心でその鍵をどう使うか選びなさい。お兄ちゃんの言うことなんか何も聞かなくてもいい。エンジェのわがままなように答えを決めても構わない。でももしもエンジェがいい子でお兄ちゃんを信用できるなら。
信用できるなら？
お兄ちゃんの言うことは全て信じなさい。
すべて信じる。
それがエンジェにとって一番いい選択になるから。お兄ちゃんの言葉に耳を傾け、そして全てを信じなさい。 できるかい？
わかんない。
それでもいい。信じたいものだけを信じればいい。それもエンジが決めていいんだよ。
お兄ちゃんを信じないとこの夢は覚めてしまうの？
そんなことはない。だから安心していいよ。
For some reason, Angie was suspicious of her brother and scared of him. Her wish was to remain on that island on that day, together with her family forever. She was afraid that once she got her 2 miraculous days, her brother might tell her to be satisfied with that and return to 12 years in the future all alone.
さっきも言ったと思う。残るのが正しいとか帰るのが正しいとか、そういうのはないんだよ。それをエンジェが決める。そしてそれは今すぐ決めなくていい。
そのどちらかの選択を誰も強要しない？
もちろん。
お兄ちゃんは私に未来へ帰れなんて言わない？
お兄ちゃんはエンジェに選んでほしいある選択がある。それをエンジェが自発的に選んでくれることを望んでる。だから望んではいるが、エンジェの選択は尊重したい。
私もさっき言った。私の答えはもう決まっているよ。
Dude, I swear this music is really, like, messing with my emotions. This is such a beautiful song.
俺もさっき言ったが、今はそれを選択する時じゃない。
それはいつ？
その鍵がいずれ教えてくれるよ。
The large golden key hung from Angie's neck. Her small hand held it tightly. At that moment, she noticed a book lying on the chapel's altar. The book had a lock on it. It was sealed, so it could not be read without a key. Angie looked between the key hanging at her chest and the book on the altar.
あの本はこの鍵で開くの？
あの本はダメだ。
Ooh. Their sudden, forceful response made Angie flinch. Battler, realizing it scared Angie, softened his expression.
さあ、行こう。1986年10月4日にエンジェを招待するよ。
Battler held out his hand, and Angie gripped it tightly. Then they started walking. The brilliant light lay beyond the chapel's door. That blinding light peeked in through the cracks around the door. The brother and sister began to walk through to the other side. That's what the door has been opening towards this entire time.
おかえり、エンジェ。
Every single time I start a new episode.
そしてこれで最後なんだ。このゲーム版をエンジェのために。
I can't remember which opening had spoilers in it, but I mean, I feel like I've gotten to everything. God. Shit. I'm I want to cry like a fucking baby by the end of this, dude. I'm going to. I'm fucking going to. I know it. I know it. Sound effects. God. What a great intro. This is just great OP. All around, really. I don't know, just thinking about everything. Just thinking about everything. Once again, Captain Kuwabata's ferry boat to Rokkenjima cut across the sea in perfect form. Yes, the tale of October 4th, 1986 always begins with Battler screams. But this time, one thing was different. There was yet another yell alongside Battler's. Battler was screaming. The other was laughing. Aww. Got a new character. Oh my god, even it goes up and down even in this. Ushua Mira Angie, Rudolph and Curie's daughter, Battler's youngest sister from a different mother. She gets sick easily, but she managed to get better just in time to attend this year's family conference. She's so happy this year, surrounded by her beloved family and relatives. Alongside the big brother, who was grasping at the handwell and screaming to a way no one that age should scream, was little sister also grasping the handwell and jumping about like it was a ride at an amusement park. George and the others just couldn't hold in their laughter at the difference.
6年を経てもバトラ君は本当に賑やかだね。
エンジェもマリアも今年はひときわ賑やかだぜ。
いとこ5人が全員揃うのってひょっとしてこれが初めて？
あれ、そうかな。なるほどね。今年はこれまでになく最高に賑やかってわけだ。
ジョージの兄貴
I could never get over the damn screen shade every time we were on a boat.
これ早すぎねえか。頼むよ、船の人に言ってスピードを下げてもらってくれ。
こんなので早すぎなんてバトラ情けない。バトラ情けない。エンジェ、もっと早いのがいい。もっともっと。
God damn it.
これ以上早くなったらお兄ちゃん船から落ちちゃうぞ。いいのか、落ちて。落ちる
多数決の結果バトラ君の速度を下げるという提案は
却下みてえだぜ。ほらほら、お兄ちゃん落ちちゃうよ。落ちちゃうよ。怖がりのバトラはくすぐりの刑だ。
よせ、やめろマリア。エンジェもやめろ。 ラーメン。
よかったエンジェの体調心配だったんだけど
一人だけ留守番じゃ気の毒だしね。無理にでも連れてきてよかったぜ。
直前に大きく体調を崩したって聞いてたけれど。
それが今朝になったらケロリよ。子供って本当にすごいわ。
緊張が体調に出るタイプなんやろな。そういうのはいざ当日を迎えるとケロッと治ることもあるもんや。
いとこ5人ではしゃぐのが楽しくて仕方ないんでしょうね。
子供たちが楽しそうにしているのを見ているとこっちまで元気になってきますね。
The adults smiled as they watched the children play around. Angie, who had gotten very sick and who everyone thought would be absent, made a miraculous recovery. Thanks in part to her strong desire to join in, she had come along to the family conference with the others. And so, for the first time ever, all 5 cousins were gathered together. October 4th, 1986 became a day like no other. Hope. What a fitting track name. The kids dashed up the path leading from the harbor to the rose garden. They were probably so charged up that even walking was too boring for them. Battler was the first one to reach the rose garden, which was the goal. Apparently, he was trying to make up for the dishonor he had suffered on the boat by proving the superiority on land. A short while later, Angie and Maria reached him in a dead heat.
Maria が2番エンジェより速い違うよマリアお姉ちゃんはズルしたもんエンジェが2番だもん
The thing is, I'm not even commenting on the goofy and sound effects either, but because it's just God, man. Ugh. Makes me so happy. That's, it just makes me happy. The 3-year gap between Angie and Maria was large, especially since both of them were growing kids. It was only natural that Maria was faster, but Angie seemed to be complaining about a shoulder bump at the start line. Maria only-chan cheated, so she gets last place. Teacher always says you get last place if you cheat, protested Angie.
ほらほら喧嘩するなって。それにしても2人とも本当に速いな。
こんなに走ったのはずいぶん久しぶりだよ。ああ、風が気持ちいいね。
ジョージの兄貴は運動不足じゃねえの？毎朝の遅刻レースに鍛えられてりゃ誰だって足腰は強くなるもんだぜ。
つまりその足の速さは朝寝坊の証ってわけだね。
お兄ちゃんは骨棒なの。今朝も起きなかったからエンジェが起こしたんだよ。ねえ。
ストンピングからフライングエルボー。最後のトップロープからのボディープレスは強烈だったな。
Ah, yes, the Estelle method.
起きるどころか永遠に起きれなくなりそうな目覚めだぜ。
面白そう。マリアもやる、マリアもやる。お兄ちゃん、きっと明日も寝坊するよ。今度はマリアお姉ちゃんと一緒に起こすよ。
今夜は夜更かしは大概にした方が良さそうだね。
Finally, the adults came into sight. The cousins waved at them, urging them to hurry up. Angie and Maria were so excited that they could hardly wait. just by having all 5 cousins together, just by adding Ange into the group. Look how energetic this day has become.
失礼いたします。親族の皆様方がご到着いたしました。
無事に着いたかね。では私は親父殿に伝えてくるとしよう。
皆さんは今はゲストハウスに？
はい。荷物を置かれましたらこちらへ挨拶に来られるとのことです。
わかりました。カノンは皆さんのご案内を。シャノンは紅茶の準備を急ぐように。
かしこまりました、奥様。
お父さん、クラウスです。そろそろご準備をお願いします。
After Cross knocked on the door, it opened from the inside.
おや、南條先生。親父殿は
ご安心を。もう着替えておりますぞ。ただ少し緊張されているようですな。誰が緊張しているというのか。お気に入りの片翼のネクタイピンが見つからぬ。だからいつも夏希に言っているのだ。勝手に物の場所を動かすなと。
The paranoid Kinzo had been running around for some time just because he couldn't decide on a tie to tie them. Kinzo, who felt that the dignity of the family head must always be preserved, usually made a big deal about the head's attire being equally dignified.
なんとかなりそうですかの？
もうしばらく時間をいただけますかな。準備ができたら下へ参りますので。
わかりました。南條先生、よろしくお願いします。お父さん、そのネクタイピンでもよく似合っていますよ。
そのネクタイピンとは何か。そのとは年に一度しかない親族会議の日であるぞ。妥協など許せんぞ。あのネクタイピンでなくてはダメだ。
He really is a child.
どこだどこだどこだ。金蔵さん、その引き出しはさっき調べたでしょうが、それに素晴らしいネクタイピンをいくつもお持ちのはずだ。今日というお日柄に合わせてふさわしいものをセレクトするのもおしゃれの見せ所ですぞ。そうであるか。
Dude. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, this feels like the slice of life moments from Higurashi, you know? And people always say, oh, those are the boring parts. Those are always the boring. Come on, that is boring shit. It's filler. But no, I never considered those parts filler. And this just feels like, it's goofy. It's anime. You know, it's... I don't know. It just feels so gratifying, I guess is the best way to put it. Of like, you know, I can finally just sit back and relax. I'm watching just like, you know, an anime. just a nice, relaxing anime. You know, it just, I don't know why, but it just feels so goddamn gratifying, you know, after all this time. Not to say, like, any of the other stuff was bad either. Like, I love whacking my brain, I love my heart being torn to shreds, but this feels nice. It just feels nice, man. It feels nice. I don't know how else to explain it.
片翼のわしじゃなくてもよいのか。
As Klaus watched Anjo calm Kinzo down, he started finding it hard to believe that this doctor wasn't his own mother. That's a great one. Well, it was always like this. He always makes us fuss when no one's looking, but when the time comes, he makes his decision with pride. After asking Anjo to come down by lunch at the Raiders, Klaus snuck out of the study.
どうです？いい香りでしょう。そして珍しいでしょう。
パンプキンティーなんて初めて飲みました。
Ah, pumpkin spice.
ほんのり甘くて美味しいですね。
As one step in preparing the tea for the guests, Goda let Shannon try a bit first. Until then, Shannon thought it would be outrageous for a servant such as herself to drink the same thing as their family and their guests. However, according to Goda, that kind of thinking was a mistake.
お客様にお出しするものを味も知らずに出すことはできません。例えば、訪れたレストランで初めて知る料理に興味を持ったとき、ウェーターを呼び止めたならこう聞くでしょう。この料理はどんな味ですかと。
そうですね。そこで食べたことがないから知りませんでは、なんだかおかしな話ですものね。
そういうことです。給仕に携わるものならば、お客様にお出しするお茶やお料理の味については熟知していて当然なのです。
それに自分で飲んで美味しかったお茶ならお出しする時にも自然と嬉しくなってしまうものですしね。
その通りですね。こんな美味しいお茶ならぜひ皆さんにも飲んでもらいたいって気持ちになります。
だからこそ私たち使用人はあらゆるお料理の味に熟知しなければならないのです。だから私がひょいとつまみ食いをしてしまったとしても、それも使用人の務め。
But Kurosawa, you eat half the food. That's not sampling.
役得であり、仕事であるわけです。わかりましたか？
はい。
準備ご苦労。お茶の方は問題ないか？
ああ、源氏さんもぜひ飲んでみてください。ハロウィンらしく、今日はかぼちゃの紅茶ですよ。
I mean, it's October 4th, so yeah, I guess it's almost all one.
後でもらおう。もうじき親族の方々がお屋敷にいらっしゃられる。お子様方もご一緒しそうな雰囲気だ。
はい。カップの用意も万全です。
At that moment, the kitchen's extension line started to ring. Genji, who was sitting right beside it, swiftly picked it up the receiver before the second ring. Shannon and the others always thought Genji looked like a samurai when he did this.
わかった。粗相のないようにご案内を。
After giving that short response, Genji set the receiver down.
カノンからだ。
As if putting back his katana back into a sheath.
今から親族方がこちらにおいでになる。お子様方もご一緒とのことだ。シャノンと熊沢はお出迎えを。ゴーダは紅茶の準備を急ぐように。
はい。
The family conference. It was the largest event of the year for the servants. They were all excited and determined to make it through together once again this year.
失礼いたします。親族の皆様をお連れしました。
おお、よく来たね。道中問題はなかったかね。
兄さん、儲けてるんでしょ？そろそろ自家用ジェットを買いなさいよ。
今回の機内も後ろ宮家しかおらんかったからな。
エンジェちゃん、来られてよかったですね。体調が悪いから欠席するかもしれないと聞いて心配していたのですよ。
ご心配をおかけしました。今朝になったら急に元気になりまして。
お腹痛いのどっか行っちゃった。お腹をぐるぐる時計回りにさせるの。お腹痛いのが治る魔法のおまじないなの。
こらマリア、少し静かにしなさい。
おお、そっちはバトラ君かね。大きくなった。
6年ぶりですね。本当に立派になりました。
いやー、いひひ。おかげさまで背ばっか伸びまして。
肝っ玉の方は相変わらずみてえだけどな。
むしろ相変わらずバトラ君でいてくれて僕は安心したけどね。
Battler may be bigger, but he's still Battler.
こいつは飛行機でも船でも落ちるのなんのと相変わらず賑やかでね。
アスムさんの血でしょ。
多分あれだぜ。こいつが小さい頃遊園地。
身長制限で乗れないんじゃないの？
いやいや、ティーカップとか足こぎボートとかいろいろあるだろ。そういうのをちょいと激しめに付き合わせたのがまずかったみたいだ。
But those teacups are always the best rides, I'm telling you.
ルドルフ兄さんは昔からそういうのやりすぎるたちだから。
それはかわいそうに。
バトラ君には同情するよ。
でも安心したわ。乗り物嫌いでこそバトラ君って感じだものね。
お兄ちゃんは乗り物が嫌いなんじゃないの。落ちるから嫌いなの。落ちる落ちる。
こら走り回らないの。マリア、お姉ちゃんでしょ。お手本を見せなさい。
失礼します。お茶の配膳に参りました。
The pleasant aroma followed Shannon as she came into the room, pushing the serving cart. Even Angie and Maria, who had been running around in circles, sat down obediently when they heard that drinks were here.
ところで親父はどうしてんだ？
もうじき降りてくるだろう。ネクタイ一本選ぶのに朝から大騒ぎだよ。
相変わらず当主として威厳ある服装がどうのこうの。
お父さんって昔からネクタイにはやたらうるさいわよね。
Yet he still has the exact same outfit every time. His closet, I can just imagine Kinzo's entire closet is just the exact same outfit, just different colored ties. What should choose today? Maybe blue. Maybe I'm feeling blue. Maybe pink.
こだわりがあられるのでしょう。おしゃれなのは良いことです。
その割に結局いつも同じネクタイで現れる。
That damn purple tie, which is a good color. No disrespect. Family members burst out laughing. The sweet scent of Goda's specially made pumpkin tea spread throughout the parlor, and the calm atmosphere grew more cheery and excited.
ママ見て、ママ見て。パンプキンのクッキーだよ。ハロウィンだ。
Aw.
あら、本当ね。この甘い匂いはかぼちゃなのかしら。はい。今日のお紅茶は珍しいパンプキンのフレーバーなんですよ。
God damn it! Every time I hear like a pumpkin like dessert, I always think of that stupid Shaq fucking vine. The jack o' lantern, the ghost. I fucking love that video so much. The jack o' lantern.
とっても美味しいですから、最初はぜひストレートで召し上がってみてください。
姉さん、袖気をつけて。
へえ、かぼちゃの紅茶なんてあるんだ。
ゴーダさんはよくこんなのを見つけてくるよな。
Good old-fashioned kombucha.
美味しいね。なかなかいいよ。かぼちゃの自然な甘みが感じられるね。
かぼちゃを紅茶にね。でもよ、かぼちゃと言ったら天ぷらが一番だよな。
かぼちゃじゃないの、パンプキンなの。パンプキンはかぼちゃじゃないの、パンプキンなの。
Maria was apparently speaking in English, but Angie, being normal, was not. Maria seemed to think the English word was more fitting for Halloween. But it looked like Angie thought kombucha and pumpkins were entirely different things. Everyone laughed, but Angie, not knowing why she was being laughed at, cocked her head to one side discontentedly. Just when it looked like she was about to get into a bad mood and start grumbling, Maria started teaching her a cookie game, and Angie immediately became engrossed with that distraction. Aww. Then, the sound of approaching footsteps drifted in from the hallway. When the relatives realized whose footsteps those must be, they straightened up. This quick footstep stopped for a moment, just outside the parlor door, as though someone was taking a deep breath and setting up a dramatic pause. Then the door exploded open as Kinzo yelled out loud, with Genji and Anjo standing behind him.
Happy Halloween! In Torico Torito!
Alright. I'll be fair to you guys. I'll be totally honest. Months ago, I can't remember how long ago, like 4 months ago or something, I saw a clip on Twitter that was exactly this, of Kinzo bursting in and saying Happy Halloween. And for so long, I had to keep that in the back of my mind this entire time of me going when the fuck does this scene appear of Kinzo busting into the parlor screaming Happy Halloween? Even though I knew it was coming, it still is so fucking good. The cousins shouted it back. The adults returned the greeting to you, looking embarrassed and refusing to meet his gaze. Angie alone stood there with her mouth open, unable to comprehend what had just happened.
よくぞ来たぞ我が孫たち。お菓子はくれなきゃいたずらしてしまうぞである。
ほらマリ
おじいさま、ハッピーハロウィーン。今年はすごいの、驚いて驚いて。
Maria picked up a present that had been hidden behind a sofa. Come to think of it, all the watchers are now holding similar packages. What? They... That is such a funny fucking thing. Every time they have to go to the family conference, they gotta bring a fucking present for Kinzo. That's so stupid. I love it.
ほら、エンジェも。これをおじい様に渡して。
You gotta give this to grandfather or else he'll go crazy. Grandpa, it's not even Halloween. I don't give a shit, damn it. Every day's Halloween. Kira handed Angie a neatly wrapped present.
Oh, Maria! いつもありがとう。おじいちゃんは嬉しいぞ。
Kinzo took Maria's present, a smile broke out across his face, and he rubbed his cheek up against it.
親方様、威厳をお忘れでございます。
This is so stupid. I love it. I truly love it. I'm not saying it ironically. I'm not saying it any goddamn way. I love this. I fucking love this. I love this. This is so stupid. I love it. I don't care.
そうであったな。
You all have to bring goddamn presents to me on fucking October 5th. And it is Halloween, damn it.
嬉しいぞ、我が孫マリアよ。
He says, and in this world, Kinzo's just a crazy grandfather. You have to bring a goddamn gift over every time you visit.
お菓子はくれたので、今年はいたずらは勘弁してやろうぞ。
Not to trick you.
今度はおじいさまの番。お菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃうぞ。
Aww.
心得ておるぞ。源氏。
こちらを。
Genji fished through something that looked like Santa Claus' sack and pulled out a present just to Maria, handing it over to Kinzo.
あれ、マリア。おじいちゃんからのプレゼントであるぞ。これはの、かわいいぞ。マリアにあげるのが惜しいわい。
親方様。Again.
It's such a great parent, fucking Genji. Please, sir, please. I've been with you for like 4 years. Just for God's sake, come on.
これは後ろ宮家当主からのマリアへのプレゼントである。これはそのかわいい。
Yes, of course, yes.
後ろ宮家の貫禄にふさわしい品であるぞ。心して受け取るがよい。
ありがとう、おじいさま。大好き。チュ。
Aw. Fucking sound effects.
おー、マリア。我がかわいい孫よ。ちっちゃちっちゃちゃ。
By this point, even Genji had to give up on Kinzo's dignity. Still, the dignity of the family had lasted a full 10 seconds, longer than usual this year.
おじいさま、ハッピーハロウィン。これは僕からです。
ハッピーハロウィン。これは私から。気に入ってくれるといいんだけど。
おお、ジョージにジェシカ。今年もありがとう。私は嬉しいぞ。
With tears streaming down his face, Kinzo hugged George and Jessica.
そしてバトラーか。よく戻ってきたな、後ろ宮家に。寂しかったぞ、この6年間。
いや、まあそのハッピーハロウィン気に入ってくれるかわからないけど。
良いのだバトラーよ。言いたいこともあろう、聞きたいこともあろう。だが今はそれはなしだ。
じいさ
ん、よく後ろ宮家に戻ってきてくれたな。私は嬉しいぞ。
Slowly, Kinzo moved forward and hugged Battler. Battler drew back at first, but then he understood Kinzo's feelings and hugged him back. Aww. Aww. Angie watched this scene play out, shocked. Was Ushiro Mira Kinzo always this kind of person?
エンジェ、次はお前の番だぞ。
ほら、それをおじいさんに渡して。
あ、うん。
Angie didn't have a clue what was going on. She took the present her mother had given her and walked forward timidly. Kinzo's face, which had worked so cheerily a second ago, suddenly became stern as soon as Angie stepped forward. No, it didn't become stern. That expression was the one always worn by the Kinzo inside Angie's mind. This was Ushiro Kinzo. He was fickle, short-tempered, and always wore a stern expression on his face. This was the most terrifying person in the Ushiro family. It felt as though the world went suddenly quiet, and only did it when its eyes stepped forward. Why? Why only for me? But isn't this how it should be? Isn't this the Ushiro Kinzo I expect? The Ushiro Kinzo I understand? I was like a puppet carrying a tea tray. I walked forward, bewildered with the present held out in front of me, and stopped in front of Kinzo. Without letting his expression change in the slightest, Kinzo slowly reached out and touched the present. In an instant, Angie was caught in a firm embrace, present and all. Kinzo's right beard rubbed against her cheek. God. Not the Kinzo that she expected. Yeah. This entire time Kinzo has become was enigma, and we eventually found out who Kinzo was. It's just, I don't, I'm trying to put something into words. What is it? The true Kinzo? What Kinzo always wanted to be? I mean, that was such an interesting scene. Of Angie, looking at Kinzo with the same kind of view as us. As Kinzo, this... I guess you could say, in a way, main antagonist. In a way, he could view it like that. But yet, we got to learn about him, and Kinzo is just like everybody else. Human. Utterly human. This world is so... This fragment is so happy, Like, this is what Kinzo's supposed to be. He's supposed to be the crazy, wacky, grandpa who has his own island, and every year when you go over to his place, you have to give him a gift, it just feels so... I don't know how to say it. It just feels so like in a way, like it doesn't feel like it's betraying the character. It feels like it's I guess an inverse? Yeah, an inverse of Kinzo's character, where before he was always locked up, he was always isolating himself. He was so caught up in his own mind that he could never see his children. He never could see his family. He could never see his grandchildren because he was so wrapped up in his own sin, his own horrible deeds, that he hated himself for it. And quite literally, the only way he could live and die was to forgive, to beg for forgiveness. But But he could never see the people around him. He was so trapped within his own self that, like, it's an inverse of that. Of what if Kinzo was able to, I don't know, be able to in some way forgive himself and able to be with his family, with his grandchildren. Get past his impossible sin, you know? That's what I'm feeling from this. It's an inverse. It's the best way to put it.
Oyakata様、鼻水だ。ついでに威厳もお忘れなく。
源氏、すまぬ。
He didn't look like he could possibly be anyone other than a kindly grandpa overcome with tears at his grandchildren's gifts.
ありがとう、エンジェ。聞けば体調が悪いのに無理をしてきてくれたそうだな。おじいちゃんは本当に嬉しいぞ。さあ、お前にはこれだ。
They pressed a large gift box to Angie's chest. She finally realized that all of Kinzo's presents were wrapped differently and in boxes of different sizes.
エンジには何だろうな。毎年じいさまが誰に何を送るか自分で考えてるそうだぜ。これだけの大人数をよくやるもんだよな。
毎年自分で。
He does what every year? He picks what himself? This bizarre ceremony happens every year. The cousins were all happily chattering about what their Halloween presents would be this year. Maria came up to Angie and suggested that they compare the weights of their presents, but for some reason Angie just stared blankly. After that, the adults also handed their presents to Kinzo one by one, receiving the gift in return, along with considerable words about their health and questions about how they've been doing recently. Then, after watching to see all exchanges had been completed, Goda appeared and announced that lunch was ready.
そうか、準備ができたか。さあ、一同諸君。ゴーダ自慢のランチに舌鼓を打とうではないか。さあさあ、食堂へ移動しよ
う。どうぞ皆様、ご案内いたします。
プレゼントは私どもでゲストハウスのお部屋へお運びいたします。
どうぞ置いたままでお食事に向かわれてください。
The adults have stood up, leaving their presents where they lay on tables and sofas, and followed Kinzo out of the parlor. Only Angie remained standing there stunned, as she clutched the present Kinzo had given her. Goda's lunches had never betrayed expectations before. When Hideyoshi said that these meals were the only reason anyone ever came to these family conferences, everyone laughed and nodded. The delicious food caused conversations to erupt all over the room. You've gotten so big. How have you been lately? Pretty good. It was a fun meal with everyone asking each other about the latest and laughing together. The Ushimura family sat at meals in a specific ranked seating order, so the adult siblings, the cousins, and the spouses all sat in groups. So conversation sprung up naturally. Angie had withdrawn slightly from the cousins' chat and was looking around the dining hall. What are Kinzo and the adult siblings doing? Their conversations seemed to be peaceful and fun. Most of the time, the siblings were mothers or fathers of their own households. However, when they gathered together by themselves in front of Kinzo, that burden was lifted from their shoulders. They became young and bright as though they'd gone back to being kids again. Rudolph, who was usually an easygoing father who nonetheless had a sense of dignity, became so bright and cheery in this group that it almost looked like there was another battler. Even Kinzo looked peaceful and relaxed. He didn't say a word about money or the inheritance. In fact, he didn't even insult his children or call them incompetent. He just looked like a happy old man, genuinely pleased to have his whole family together for the only time this year. The group of spouses was just as harmonious. Mothers kept bringing up problems with education and household matters, as well as family health issues. Hideroshi and Najo happily joined in on their conversation. And what about the cousins? There was no way such an enjoyable meal or such a fun group of friends could fall to be ruckus. Maria was in her element, showing off her knowledge of Halloween trivia. George and Jessica would nod in understanding. Battler would say something stupid and Maria would laugh at him. If I wanted, I could easily join in on that conversation. And if the dessert caught my attention, I could easily slip out of the conversation too. It was happiness, both fun and natural. It felt like waking up from a daydream to be greeted by the waves of the springtime sun.
天気予報によると今夜あたりからだいぶ崩れるらしいな。
台風らしいからな。こりゃ今年も一泊じゃ済まなさそうだぜ。
私は一向に構わんぞ。一泊と言わずいつまででも泊まっていくがいい。可愛い孫の顔が何日でも見られるなら私は毎日雨乞いをしてもよいぞ。
よしてよ、仕事があるんだから。
お父様が島を出ればいいんじゃない？そうすればもっと好きな時に孫の顔を見られるでしょうに。
確かに風情はあるが離島の暮らしはそろそろ答えるんじゃありませんか。
都会はうるさい。私の家族だけしかいない静かな島が一番だ。私はここを気に入っている。
でも六軒島じゃいざという時お医者様を呼ぶのにも時間がかかるわ。
同感よ。もうお父様も年なんだからせめて新島に引っ越すべきだと思うわ。
私はもう老いた。家族だけに囲まれて静かに暮らしたい。そして私は幸せ者だ。それを実現できるこの島があるのだから。
お父さん。
しんみりさせてしまったな。諸君、これでゴーダのランチは終了だ。孫たちよ、明日からはずっと雨らしい。晴れているのは今しかないぞ。バラをめでて、それから浜辺を散歩してはどうか。
そうですね。じゃあみんなそうさせてもらおうか。
バラをめでて浜辺を散歩する。貝殻拾いしてガラス拾いもする。
ガラス拾いなんだそりゃ、危ないな。
ガラスのかけらが波に現れて丸くなって綺麗な石になって流れ着いてるんだよ。忘れたかよバトラー。昔一緒に拾ったろ。
ああ、あれガラスのかけらだったのか。俺はてっきり そういう綺麗な石なんだと思い込んでたぜ。
Glass fragments.
エンジェはガラスの石見たことある？ない。じゃあ行こう。マリアが教えてあげるよ。行こう行こう。でも早い者勝ちだよ。マリアが全部拾っちゃう。
なら私も負けないぜ。誰が一番綺麗で大きなガラス石を拾えるか競争しよ
う。やれやれ。ここは一つ童心に戻るとするかな。
I'm just realizing now. I feel like this is the first time, and hell, in this entire game where I'm not thinking about like an alternative motive, like a. No, wait, what's, you know, what's behind it? You know, who's the culprit? You know, like every scene in this entire game, I've always been thinking, okay, what's the clues here? What's the, you know, what's the point of this or that? Because it's designed to be that. But this time, I don't have any of those thoughts. I'm just enjoying it, you know? And such a I don't know, rewarding type of feeling, you know? Just be at the end of this, it's just after all the tears, after all of the heartbreak, the twists, the turns, the, you know, fake outs, the, you know, ulterior motives, after all of that, it just feels nice to be something that's sincere, genuine, filled with happiness, you know?
負けねえぞ。
じゃあ僕たちは浜辺へ行ってきます。
いとこ同士のんびりしてくるがよい。
The cousins rose from their seats and noisily left the dining hall. Maria grabbed Angie's hand and dragged her along. However, Angie's expression was vague and absent-minded, the opposite of Maria's full smile. She still has her doubts. About all of this. There's gotta be a trick somewhere, you know? The cousins walked along the beach, playing in all kinds of ways. They searched for bits of glass polished by the waves to become small and gem-like. They cut up on news of each other's lives and joked around. They wrote words in the sand. They chased the receding waves and ran away from the coming ones. The cousins enjoyed the time they had to themselves.
待て待てマリア。今度は許さねえぞ。
転ぶと怪我をするよ。二人とも気をつけて。
風が強くなってきたかな。そろそろ引き上げた方がいいかもしれねえぜ。
そうだね。空も曇ってきた気がするよ。バトラ君、マリアちゃん、そろそろおしまいにして一度ゲストハウスに戻ろうか。
やだ、もっと遊ぼう。
こらこら、聞き分けろおい。じゃあこれでおしまいだ。ほら、俺のガラス石やるよ。
おい、本当？ありがとうバトラー。これで一番数が多いのはマリアだから優勝だね。
エンジェ、大丈夫か？
どうしたエンジェ？少し元気ないぞ。
疲れたんだよ。
There are two things Ryokushi is great at. No, let me say three things. 1, characters. 2, mysteries. Straight up, just mysteries. 3, and I think this is the most important one. He is able to write such good... Such good pointless moments. Now, let me explain what I mean by pointless moments. Things that happen between characters that really have no bearing on the plot. Really just characters hanging out with each other. He's fantastic at writing that. So much. He's able to capture the human feeling of just messing around with your friends so beautifully. In such a way that I don't think I've seen anywhere else. That feels so natural, that feels so beautiful, so human. You know, it reminds me of a quote from Attack on Titan, where one of the characters say that they wish they appreciated those small moments more. Those small moments in life that seem so insignificant. They wish they had appreciated more. For example, they wish they could play catch with a buddy forever, really. Just simply playing catch and nothing more. And Ryokushi-san is able to perfectly capture that. And it just feels so heartwarming, so beautiful, you know? Just able to just capture it so eloquently, you know? No, even Trails can do it as well, you know, with their characters interacting, even if their plots aren't that complex. But still, it's so beautiful. Denji's expression probably didn't look tired. However, Battler alone thought he saw something else in it.
なんかあったのか？話してごらん。
なんでもない。
She said that, but something in her expression showed that she was unsatisfied for some reason. Yeah, she's probably thinking that this is, you know, fake. Since Ange didn't say what it was, and Battler couldn't think of anything, he was unable to guess anymore. So she squeezed her small hands, and someone letting her know that she could tell him whenever she was ready. Even though it seemed like such a bright and sunny day a second ago, the sky turned gray and the wind started to feel more annoying than pleasant. If they waited around, they would probably see scattered raindrops as well soon.
これであとはずーっと大雨ってわけか。なんだかげんなりするぜ。
でも短い時間だったけど童心に戻れて楽しかったよ。
このガラス石早くママに見せてあげるの。マリアが優勝したってママに教えるの。
にひひ俺が見つけたやつを譲ったんだけどな。
うん。マリアがもらったからマリアのものなの。だからマリアが優勝なの。
And she walked distractedly, pulled along by her brother. George and the others thought that she'd probably woken up too early and was tired, so they didn't try to talk to her much. As they reached the end of the forested path, the rose garden lay before them. They could see strong winds making the rose bushes wave.
Mama! 見て！マリアが優勝したの！
Maria ran forward, waving her hands about and yelling. It looked as though Rosa was waving to them from the front of the guest house.
私は一度自分の部屋に戻るぜ。そしたらすぐいとこ部屋に行くよ。
うん、わかったよ。じゃあ、後ほどね。
Jessica ran off in the direction of the mansion. George turned around as though suggesting that they'd better get going too. However, when he saw Angie sitting still with a crabby look on her face, he realized that something might have put her into a bad mood.
大丈夫かい？
ああ、大丈夫だよ。悪いけど、先に行っててくれねえかな。
うん、わかったよ。じゃあ、後で。
George headed for the guest house. The only ones left in the rose garden were Battler, who was waving at George, and Angie, who was still staring at the ground and holding Battler's hand. For the past few minutes, he had repeatedly asked Angie what was wrong. He realized that this wasn't anything like a stomachache or something obvious that made her grumpy. However, young girls sometimes get upset for reasons only they can understand. Yeah. Battler knew this, so he didn't rush her in any way. And continued to gaze around the beautiful rose garden, holding her hand.
お兄ちゃん。
どうした？
どこ？ここ。
She asked the question, as though she was talking about something on the other side of the silver screen. Though Battler understood what that question meant, he played dumb.
どこって、ロッケン島だろ？
違うわ。
違わねえさ。
これのどこがロッケン島だっていうのよ。
1986年10月4日のお前が知りたがってたロッケン島だ。
嘘よ。
どうして？
こんなの嘘っぱちだわ。
Yeah. Angie wedged her hand from the brother's grip. That hand hit a rose and sent flower petals flying.
俺は嘘なんかつかね
え。これのどこが真実だっていうの
？Angie spat those words out. However, Battler's expression remained calm and composed.
何が気に入らない？
後宮金蔵ってあんな人のわけないでしょ？
孫たちとしばらくぶりに再会したなら、どこのじいさんだって目尻を下げるだろうぜ。
少なくとも後宮金蔵はそういう人じゃなかったでしょ？後宮金蔵ってのは
厳格で気難しく短気で怒りっぽい。
Yeah, he was.
分かってるじゃない。何よあれ。あれのどこが後宮金蔵なのよ。ハロウィン？プレゼント交換？何よそれ。こんなの後宮金蔵じゃない。ロッケン島じゃない。
エンジェは覚えてないのか？
何がよ。
こんなのはいつも恒例だったじゃねえか。
これ？これが？
そうだよな。お前が親族会議に来たのは6歳より前なんだもんな。なら覚えてなくても無理はない。
覚えてなくてもって。
Angie understood what her brother was trying to say. However, she couldn't accept it. Yeah.
後宮金蔵は確かに厳しい人だったさ。 若かった時は相当きつく息子たちに当たっていたらしい。それが半ばトラウマになって、クソ親父たちが未だじいさまのことをおっかながっていることは、まあ確かに外れじゃない。
Yeah. The grand tale of how Kinzo restored the Ushiro-Miri family was more than enough to paint him as a rigid, terrifying man. Furthermore, Kinzo was an investor. All the legends and tales that made him seem more mysterious had probably worked in his business's favor. At times, Kinzo may even have acted out the support people expected, endeavoring him to make his presence all the more overpowering. That's why the world at large spoke of Ushiro-Miri Kinzo as a strict, short-tempered man. And they even thought of him as a fickle, bold, incomprehensible eccentric.
でもそれはじいさまの外の顔だ。後ろ宮家で親類一同水入らずで過ごす時の顔じゃない。
目尻を下げて孫たちを溺愛する涙腺の緩んだ老人が後宮金蔵の本当の姿だっていうの。
エンジェだって遊んでもらったり頭を撫でてもらったりしたことがあるはずだ。本当に覚えてないのか？
Stuff like that might have happened once or twice, but that must have been a mere whim of his. My parents told me all the time, grandfather is a terrifying person, so make sure you act properly. They always said that he was very scary, so take care.
だから怖い人なのよ。
幼いお前は親の言いつけを過剰に聞いて鵜呑みにする。よく言えば素直な、悪く言えば思い込みの激しい子だった。親父たちは行儀よくしてるようにと念を押していただけなんだ。
私見てたもん、知ってたもん。後宮金蔵は恐ろしい人だって怒鳴ってるところを見たことがあるもん。私は覚えてる、忘れない。
さっきも見た通りじいさまは唐突なお人だ。ひょっとすると何かを驚かそうとしたのかもしれない。あるいは親たちとの真剣な議論の中でつい怒鳴ってしまったこともあったかもしれない。
それを私が勝手に怯えて勝手にそうだと思い込んだっていうの。そんなはずないわ、そんなはずない。だって私は覚えてるもの、忘れない。ちゃんと見たわ、後宮金蔵が怒鳴ってる恐ろしいところを。父さんも母さんも怯えていたわ。だからわかるの、私はわかる。
幼いお前が抱いたじいさまの印象はそのまま残り、お前の成長とともに膨らんだ。
How many times did Angie see Kinzo and her wife? How old was she the last time she saw him? Angie got sick easily, went under pressure, and couldn't have gone to Rokkenjima often. And since she was absent for the family conference, and when she was 6, her last memories of him must have come from when she was just 5 years old.
お兄ちゃんだって6年間後宮金蔵には会ってないじゃない。
そうだな。でも6年ぶりに帰ってきて、じいさまは6年経っても全く変わってなかったって知ったぜ。
金蔵は気まぐれで何を考えてるかわからなくて不気味な オカルト趣味の鬼人で。
オカルト趣味なのは間違いない。妖精の趣味にしちゃちょいと珍しいものだったのは事実だ。その不気味な収集品で孫を怖がらせてからかう悪い趣味があったことは俺も認める。
Even Battler had been pranked by Kinzo in the past. You do things like showing off an attached case with several strange stakes in it. And say something about how they were once used in the Middle Ages to gouge the hearts of victims in a witch's ceremony. When Kinzo did things like that, it was pretty scary, but looking back on it now, they really were childish pranks. Grandfather only scared his grandchildren because he wanted to joke around with them.
じい様はきっとお前にも同じことをしてからかったと思う。幼いお前がそれに怯えてじい様を不気味で恐ろしい人だと思い込んだとしても無理もない話だと思う。
お兄ちゃんが何を言ってるのかわからない。
Angie bit her lower lip and stared at the ground. She said she didn't understand, but in truth she understood perfectly and was refusing to accept it.
さっき客間でハロウィンのプレゼント交換があったな。
何よあれ。あんな甘ったるいこと後ろ見分けてやるわけがない。
お前はまるで覚えてないんだな。
私もかつてプレゼントをもらったことがあるというの？覚えてない。そんなのあるわけがない。
オカルト好きで西洋かぶれのじい様がハロウィンをやらないと思うか？じい様のハッピーハロウィンはもう親族会議の挨拶みたいなもんだったぜ。エンジェラってもらってるはずだ。幼いってのは残酷だな。じい様が心を込めて選んだろうプレゼントもお前の心には全く残らなかった。
私が幼かったから覚えてないだけで。あれが真実の10月4日だというの？
あの日も6年前と何も変わらずじい様はハッピーハロウィンの声とともに客間にやってきたよ。そして俺との6年ぶりの再会に涙をこぼしてくれながらじい様はエンジェが来れなかったことを残念がっていたよ。だからエンジェにぜひ渡してくれとキリエさんにプレゼントボックスを預けていた。
そんなプレゼント私は知らない。受け取ってない。
そうだな。お前に届けることはできなかったな。
Had the chance.
私は信じない。あんな後ろ宮金蔵なんて信じない。じゃあ親族会議はどうなの？遺産分配のためのきな臭いものじゃなかったの？親族兄弟たちはみんな資金繰りに困っていた。そのために金蔵の遺産を渇望していた。
エンジェはそんなことをどこで知った？
どこってそうでしょ？それが真実でしょ？
幼いエンジェに親父が自分の会社の経営が苦しいなどと相談すると思うか？
Just assumed.
親父だけじゃない。クラウスおじさんやエヴァおばさん、ローザおばさんが仮にするにしてもお前がいる前ですると思うか？
だってでも本当でしょ？
In the end, it was true. Angie's words were not mistaken. Not only Rudolph, but even Klaus, Heiderushi, and Rosa had companies in money trouble. People started talking about the Rokkenjima explosion accident as though it was some sort of conspiracy. And a mystery imagined by the public covered the island. Weekly magazines and television shows researched the circumstances of Kinzo's children at the time, and in the future Ange lived that research had been made public.
お前がそれを知ったのは1986年よりも後のことだ。
Oh my god.
でも事実でしょ。事実は真実。
だからロッケン島での親族たちは遺産をめぐってギスギスしていたってわけか。そこにエンジェの幼い頃の親族会議では粗相がないように行儀よくしているようにと親に重ねて言われて緊張した記憶が重なる。
私の知っているロッケン島が、後ろ宮家が間違ってるっていうの？間違ってるのはお兄ちゃんよ。
God, I don't know why, but I keep tearing up.
あんなのありえない。あるわけがない。私は認めないわ。あんな後ろ宮金蔵。断じてあんな後ろ宮金蔵を受け入れることなんてできない。
エンジェは信じないのか。
ええ、信じない。お兄ちゃんがどういうつもりでこんなものを見せているのかわからないけれど、だってこれはお兄ちゃんのゲーム、いえゲーム版じゃない。
That's true, yeah.
ベアトだのベルンだの何人もの魔女が私の運命を嘲笑い、そのゲームで屈服させようとしてきたわ。でも私は真実を求めている。魔女たちのまやかしなんか通用しない。なるほどね、魔女たちめ。最後の資格にお兄ちゃんを送り込んできたってわけだわ。
そうだな。これは俺のゲームだ。だから確かにこれは俺の物語であり、俺だからこそもしもお前が島に来ることができたならというイフを混ぜることができる。
Yeah.
ほら、お兄ちゃんの物語じゃない。全部お兄ちゃんの嘘っぱちの作り話じゃない。
そうだな。これは全て俺の作り話だ。
ほら、認めたわね。認めたじゃない。
It is.
やっぱりこれはお兄ちゃんの嘘なのよ。どうして嘘をつくの？どうして私に真実を教えてくれないの？
真実よりもっと大切な。
And what is that, Battler?
どうしても伝えたいことがあるからだ。
真実より大切なこと？
That could be more important.
何それ？わけわかんない。
それを分からせるためのものが俺のゲームだ。
Just as Beto's games were made to make Battler believe in witches, Battler's game was made to show Angie something that was more important than the truth. Games never bring about their intended ends by force. After all, Beto's games could never be won for all eternity unless Battler acknowledged witches of his own. Battler's game was the same. Battler couldn't win in this game unless Angie acknowledged it herself. So Battler had advanced this game just as Beto had done in the past. To believe it or not, to accept it or not. The decision weighs solely in the hands of the opponent. And so, Battler was trying to enshroud Angie with his own illusion.
ようやく理解したわ。これは私とお兄ちゃんのゲームなのね。
エンジェ、俺はお前とゲームをしているつもりはない。
いいえ、これはゲームだわ。私は1986年10月4日の真実が知りたいと願った。そしてお兄ちゃんは私にそれを見せると言ってこのゲームへ招いたわ。そしておかしな幻想を見せてそれが真実だと私に信じ込ませようとしている。おあいにくね。私魔女たちとのやりとりは慣れてるの。お兄ちゃんが優しそうな顔をして私を騙そうとしてることなんて百も承知なんだから。
The big brother realized that no words of his would have any effect on his enraged little sister. So he just quietly listened to Angie's words. But even so, Angie was dissatisfied.
もうくだらない茶番は飽き飽きだわ。お兄ちゃんに真実を話す気がないと言うならもうおしまいにして。私は私の真実を自分で探す。お兄ちゃんには頼らない。そうよ、もともと頼るべき人間なんて私にはいなかったじゃない。私はいつだって一人ぼっちだったわよ。
悪いが、このゲームから降りることは許さない。
ああ、そうだったわね。ゲームマスターが負けを認めない限りゲームは永遠に終わらないんだったっ
そんなつもりはないさ。黙って話を聞けってだけのことだ。
け。ああ、そう。なら黙ってることにするわ。プレイヤーがいなくても駒は勝手に動きゲームは進む。
Yeah.
そうだったわよね。
そうだな。プレイヤーを離れ少し傍観者になるといい。そしてまた戻ってきたい時に戻ればいい。
そうさせてもらうわ。これはコンクラベよ。お兄ちゃんが真実をごまかすことを諦めるまでのね。
What is Battler trying to make Angie realize? What is more important than the truth?
真実より大切なこと？意味わかんない。そんなものあるわけがない。
あるんだよ、エンジェ。仮に俺の物語が真実でなかったとしても、お前は大切なものをこの島でなくしているんだ。
Yeah.
お父さん、お母さん、そしてお兄ちゃん。
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
私がなくしたのは家族と、そして全てよ。
She spat out those words as though no further questioning would do any good, and walked away. Even as he watched this, Battler's expression remained gentle.
勝手に進めなさいよ。じゃあね、お兄ちゃん。
物語だけはちゃんと見ていろよ。聞くだけでもいい。
気が向いたらね。じゃあ。
Whoa, Angie's eyes clouded. Then, a partially strong gust of wind blew by, sending her hair flying. The wind must have been carrying some dust with it. Angie's nose twitched, and she sneezed wildly.
お兄ちゃん？
なんだい？
いつまでここにいるの？なんかお天気変。ゲストハウスに帰ろうよ。
Angie's eyes weren't cloudy anymore. However, the tone and atmosphere about those eyes seemed somehow different from before, as if she's not there. In a manner typical of young girls, Angie signaled that she was too bored and wanted to go do something. This Angie was clearly a 6-year-old Angie.
そうだね。じゃあ、エンジェはゲストハウスに戻ってるといい。お兄ちゃんはまだここにいるよ。
どうして？もうすぐ雨が降ってくるよ。
そろそろ来るはずなんだ。だから、俺は待ってるよ。
待ってるって？誰？え？
No way. Then to Angie's eyes, it looked as though the strong winds were carrying flakes of gold along with them. No, she had definitely seen something, but she wasn't able to describe what she had seen. So to her, it seemed like flakes of gold dancing on the wind.
来たか。
No way.
ずいぶん待ったぜ。
It was as though he was talking to the wind. Battler spoke to the empty rose garden. That can't be right. After all, it was clear from his words that he was talking to someone right in front of him. So Angie thought it must have been someone that she alone couldn't see, and she rubbed her eyes. Then, when she opened her eyes wide, another large gust of wind blew past her. She shut her eyes immediately when she timidly opened them. From the other end of the rose garden, no fucking way. Yes, from the path that led up from the harbor, a person appeared. To Angie, it looked as though she had appeared along with a cloud of gold flakes carried by the wind. Dude, what the fuck?
そうか、むしろ早いぞ。
Dude, what the fuck?
たまにはお前も一緒に船に乗ればいいんだ。
Dude.
柵に捕まってお前と一緒に叫ぶか？
What the fuck?
いいぜ、叫ぼうぜ。落ちる落ちるってな。
なるほど、それも悪くなかった。認めよう。どうやらわらわが来るのは遅かったらしい。
The pair casually walked up to each other and hugged. It looked like a pair of friends being reunited after several years. Angie, surprised by this unfamiliar woman, looked for somewhere to hide. However, her eyes met Bito's and she was unable to escape.
おお、そなたはエンジェか。
She was shocked to hear this unfamiliar woman suddenly use her name.
こやつも6歳の頃はなかなかに可愛かったではないか。
お兄ちゃん、この人誰？
お兄ちゃんの友人だ。
友人？それはあんまりだろうが。
お兄ちゃんの友達？
こいつはベアトリーチェ。おじいちゃんから聞いたことないか？後ろ宮家に黄金を授けてくれた黄金の魔女の話を。
My mouth's been fucking open for a while. Haven't I heard that before? The one witch. Now I remember. That was the scary witch who would snatch you up and carry you off into the forest. Didn't listen to your parents and stayed up too late on Rokkenjima.
雨の夜、真っ暗な森を窓から さんに言われた。
ということは、わらわは夜更かしの子供を見張るため、寒い雨の中窓を一つ一つ覗き込まねばならぬというのか。それはあまりに無体。
確かに。エンジェ、それはお前に夜更かしをさせないための親の作り話だ。彼女はそんなことはしない。
よかろう、名乗ろうぞ。わらわは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。
Beatrice, the golden witch who has ruled for 1,000 years. She has already surpassed the limits of humans. It is said that she will appear in response to human summons, just as demons do, to lend them her power for a price. She has been called here for a ceremony involving the return of a vast amount of gold, which too will mirror a family received from her grandmother. Rokkenjima no longer has any need for the old arguments and tragedies. The return for a vast amount of gold received from her grandmother. Dude, what the fuck's happening? What the fuck is happening?
の、お孫さんだ。
孫？
お孫さんとはなんとも締まらぬ呼び名であるな。
だってそうだろ。じいさまに黄金を授けて黄金の魔女と呼ばれたのはお前のばあさまの話だろう
が。確かにそうではあるが、黄金の魔女の孫か。そのキャッチコピー、もう少しマシなものにはならぬのか。
この人魔女なの？
ああ、そうだよ。今日の親族会議に招かれたお客さんだ。
怖い魔女じゃないの？暗い森に私をさらったりしない？
ルドルフにキリエめ、一体わらわを何だと思って吹き込んだのやら。わらわはそんなことはせぬわ。後で厳重に抗議する。プンプン。
God, I keep fucking getting water in my eyes. God damn it. Why? Damn it. Why? Fuck. Shit. She looked like a fiercely emotional person. But she wasn't at all what Angie expected the creepy golden witch to be like. She was very loud, overreacting to everything. Nothing at all like the witch Maria Oni-chan had talked about, who had lived for 1,000 years and had various servants from the demon world. She looked, well, like an energetic young woman, the kind Angie's mom might have gone along great with. Her brother and the witch talked together happily like a pair of close friends. Dogs tend not to trust people, but they meet for the first time. However, people say that they calm down once they see that their owner is on good terms with a stranger. Surely something similar to this was going on in Angie's heart. Angie kept staring at this pushy, temperamental woman who called herself a witch, as she chatted happily with her brother. Bito noticed the golden key hanging from Angie's neck. Angie automatically and defensively grasped it.
Angieの大切な鍵だ。
After hearing those vague words, the witch stared blank away for a second. But almost immediately she seemed to understand what he meant.
なるほど。そういうことか。
すべきことを明確にした方が分かりやすいだろうと思ってな。
安心せよエンジェ。そなたの大切な鍵を奪ったりなどせぬぞ。
本当に？
もちろんであるとも。それはそなたの鍵であり、そなたが決めることである。バトラン、そしてわらわたちもそなたを導く道しるべの役にしか過ぎぬのだから。
And what exactly is that pointing towards? What is it that's greater than the truth? When her brother gave her the key, he had said that it was very important, so she had to take good care of it. Angie didn't have a clue what the key was for, but it looked like Bito did. However, just like her brother had done earlier, Bito only spoke in riddles. This irritated Angie. But for the time being, the Golden Witch said that she didn't intend to steal the key, so Angie calmed down a little.
あなたはこの鍵が何に使うものなのか知っているの？
もちろんであるとも。だが、それを教えるわけにはいかぬ。
What is this, the key to Golden Land, maybe? Or that book?
どうして？
What is it?
その鍵をどう使うかは、そなたが自分で決めねばならぬからだ。
The witch said the same thing as my brother. The pair nodded to each other, but it was all Greek to me. It felt like someone had laid out a riddle that everyone knew but me, and everyone was making fun of me.
やがてわかる。無理に考える必要はない。
Angie held the key tightly. Even though she didn't understand what it meant, it was her own key, and her big brother had told her to take good care of it. With her youthful suspicion, she was scared that the witch might ask her to hand it over, saying that she'll teach her how to use it. Of course, her thoughts showed up clearly on her face. The witch couldn't help but laugh at that honest expression.
安心せよ。そなたのその鍵は誰にも奪うことはできぬのだ。
誰にも奪えない？
そういう魔法が込められているとでも理解せよ。とにかく安心するがよい。わらわもバトラも、そして島の誰もそなたから鍵を奪うようなことはせぬ。
本当に？
ああ、本当だよ。そういう魔法がかかってるんだ。
What's that key then for? The key was hanging around her neck like an ordinary necklace. And she could take it off right now if she wanted, and if it all tried to use force, it seemed like it would be easy for them to take it away. However, both her brother and the witch said that it was protected by a magic that would stop anyone from stealing it.
魔法なんて本当にあるの？
Even the 6-year-old Angie knew about the word magic. However, she also realized that real magic didn't exist, and that certain kinds of magic tricks were sometimes called magic. However, her brother and the witch were talking about magic itself.
ああ、魔法は存在する。
本当に？
マリアもよくわらわのことを話しているであろう。魔女はいると、魔法は存在すると、そなたによく語ったはずだぞ。
True, Maria had talked about that many times. When they were just playing, Angie had believed her, more or less. However, Angie was in some ways sharp for her age. And when she heard Maria talking happily about magic, she sometimes thought that such a thing couldn't really exist.
なら見せて。
ん？
見せて、魔法。じゃなきゃ信じない。
おいおい、レアとは島に来たばかりで、まだ屋敷に挨拶にも行ってないんだぞ。
Battler spoke as though he was trying to smooth something over. When she heard that, Angie became sure that magic didn't exist after all.
魔女なんて嘘っぱち。エンジェは知ってるもん。
おい、よすんだ。ベアトが気を悪くする。
よいよい。魔女に会えば誰だって同じことを問うだろう。いつもならばこのような幼子の挑発に付き合いはせぬのだが、バトラの妹であるからな。特別に披露してやってもよい。
いいのか？
Special showing.
よいよい。では見せよう、エンジ。
Though Angie had challenged the witch, now that she was about to be shown magic, she looked a bit hesitant. She gulped and stared up at the witch's face. The witch held out her left hand to bring it close to Angie's face. Then she slowly spread her fingers. Angie, thinking that she was about to be turned into a frog, shrank back. However, after waiting a while and grinding her teeth, she realized that nothing was happening. So, the part of her that had been scared began to get angry.
何も起こらないの？
早とちりするでない。まだ魔法を使ってはおらぬぞ。ほれ、わらわの手のひらをよーく見るがよい。種も仕掛けもないな。
Oh, so that's what she's doing. Now that she finally understood, Angie checked both sides of the witch's hand.
何もないよ。
よく見ておれ。こうして握る。そして人差し指を立てる。
She stretched out her index finger and held it right in front of Angie's eyes. Angie, thinking that she'd lose the game, she took a step back, stood her ground, and concentrated on the fingertip.
人差し指の先をよーく見ておれ。行くぞ。早いぞ。
The witch rapidly lifted her index finger high into the air, pointing at the heavens. Just as Angie looked up to see the finger raised high, it swung down as though trying to dodge her gaze. In that manner, up, down, left, right, and then left again, as though Angie was playing the game of Achi Beauty Hall. And what the hell is... what's that? Oh, Japanese variant rock, paper, scissors. Inside is round meter declared. So have two player advantage is just Achi Beauty. Then the time oh yeah, that. Oh yeah, I did. I think I saw this in like Kinniku Man of like if you basically the game how it goes, like if you say look that way and your opponent looks that way, you win. But if they don't, they like they get their turn, and so you have to say like, oh, look left or look over there. Yeah, I remember reading then the Ultimate Kinniku Man Second Generation manga. That was a funny joke. Anyway, Angie, feeling as though she'd lose if she couldn't keep up with the fingertip, swung her face this way and that way, looking serious. Ever since she was very young, Angie had hated to lose. She would take even the most trivial games seriously, determined not to lose to the adults. The witch's hand moved faster and faster. Angie didn't lose track of it. Then the high pointing finger was swung down all of a sudden. The index finger crawled up again and the hand was held in a simple fist. Could it be that something was going to come out of that hand? Angie, who had suspected that this right hand had followed the finger very closely. There was no way that one's empty hand could have grabbed anything.
よいか、手を開くぞ。
The witch slowly opened her right fist, and there... was what? The witch gave the cutely wrapped candy to Angie as a present. Angie took it and desperately searched for some kind of trick on it, but it was just an everyday, ordinary candy.
どうして？デジなんでしょ、お兄ちゃん。お兄ちゃん。
いいや、魔法だよ。エンジェもずっと見てただろ。
Since I was watching the whole time, how did it happen? Angie didn't like it, but she was unable to see how that could have been anything other than magic. As the little sister furrowed her brow and bit her lower lip, her brother gently told her again that it was magic.
そろそろ屋敷へ挨拶に行く。バトラも付き合うがよい。
How did she do it?
わらは一人では窒息してしまうわ。
そうか。じゃあ、お供させてもらうかな。
How did she do it?
エンジェはどうする？ゲストハウスに戻ってるか？
お兄ちゃんと一緒がいい。
She still couldn't accept it. However, could it really be? She still looked grumpy, but it looked like she was getting interested in the switch.
さあ、では行こうではないか。黄金の魔女の帰還であるぞ。
黄金の魔女の孫の帰還だけどな。
そのキャッチコピー、もう少しなんとかならぬものか。
The big brother and the witch really did seem close. With kindred spirits like a pair of minions, they started walking. Angie held onto the corner of her brother's sleeve, trying to make sure he didn't forget about her. Oh. God, this is such an interesting episode. Such an interesting episode, dude. This really is. So really the question is, right now, what is Battler trying to show Angie? What is it exactly? What's more important than the truth? What did Angie really lost on the island? You know, that whole scene with Angie trying to figure out how Beato did it, how she was able to pull the candy out of nowhere, made me think. It really did make me think about stories, about fiction itself, really, and how there's two types of people that can approach stories. There's many others, yes, but main two I want to gravitate towards for the sake of for this explanation is one person that goes into the world completely blind, forgets everything else about actual reality, and lets them be consumed by the story they're reading, like I usually do. That's what I usually do for most stories. For any show, any comic, any anime I'm watching, I always allow myself to be absorbed by that. But there's always the second type of person that approaches stories are the ones that, how should I put it, try to figure out how it works, you know? How the magic of storytelling is used, you know? And you can chalk it up to many different things. Is it the writing? Is it the emotions that give to us? What is it exactly that make humans gravitate towards stories so much? What is it exactly that make us gravitate towards these icons of fictional heroes or fictional characters? What is it exactly that makes us gravitate towards them? What's the trick? You know? What's the trick behind the magic of it? You know? What is it? Like, I feel like, right here, right now, Angie is the most, like, she is the viewer, she is the reader here and now. She's always been that way, in my opinion. She's always felt like an kind of an audience surrogate, in a way. But here and now, it's like Battler is trying to convince both Angie and obviously us of what is more important than the truth. And I'm trying to think of what could that be. What could be more important than the truth? What could be more important than that? In that conversation, when Angie started saying, like, this is just a story you're making up, Battler. This is just your fiction. This is your game board. This isn't the truth. But you can apply that to any other story. You can say it's all lies. That's not really the truth. Lord of the Rings never happened. You know? Obviously. Never did happen. So it's technically not the truth. The truth of the matter is, Lord of the Rings is just words. The truth of the matter is, Umineko is just a video game. Just a visual novel. Just text on a screen. That's the truth of it. That's the trick. You know, that's how it works. Yet, the magic it's able to convey to you. The magic of these characters. The magic of feeling these emotions. Of having your heart ripped out. Of you crying. I've cried multiple times during just this episode. You know, tears actually coming from my fucking eyes. God, I'm actually a little bit stuffy. I even though I know all of that, I know that instinctively, I'm still. This game is still able to make me cry. It's able to make me tear up, even though I know it's not real. Yet it's still able to do that. Because that's the magic of storytelling. That's the magic of stories. To be able to take something that's not real and make another person feel those emotions. To feel the tensity, the suspense, the any type of emotion, anger, happiness, you know, all of that. Hell, even to make them laugh. Maybe that's what Battler is going to try to get at for Angie. Maybe it's something along those lines, or maybe it's something completely different that I'm not thinking of at this particular moment. But I'm excited for this episode. I really am. I'm so curious. See how all of this is. How exactly this all wraps up, and what's more important than the truth, what that answer is. I'm so curious now, towards it. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this type of video. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. When time is ready, put the comments below. Once I have this Discord server I hang out in, or my Twitter, check the description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!